Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled, where we decode the future before it arrives. Imagine this, it's 2026, and somewhere in a small apartment in Austin, a single person is running a company doing $50 million in annual revenue. No employees, no office, no board meetings. Just one founder, a laptop, and a council of AI agents working 24/7. It's not a fantasy, it's not a thought experiment. It's happening right now. The old playbook, the one that said you needed teams, hierarchy, and hierarchy, and headcount to build something big, that model is getting turned inside out. And what's replacing it? A revolution we're only beginning to understand. The rise of the AI-augmented solopreneur. Today, we're breaking down how one person with the right tools can now do what used to require 10. We're talking about AI agents, department replacement, the death of the traditional startup model, and the very real possibility of a billion-dollar company of one. Let's go. For decades, the playbook never changed. You had an idea. You raised money. You hired people. You scaled headcount. You hit milestones. You went public or sold to someone bigger. That entire model is collapsing. Not because funding dried up or ideas got worse, but because AI fundamentally changed the economics of productivity. One person with the right tools can now do what used to require 10. And here's the wild part. They can do it better, faster, and cheaper. The barrier to entry for competing at the highest level just collapsed. Traditionally, what separated a solo consultant from McKinsey? Depth of analysis, breadth of expertise, speed of execution, prestige, the ability to throw 20 analysts at a problem for 3 months straight. Now, an AI-augmented solopreneur can analyze markets, model strategies, design operating systems, and implement solutions at a speed and scale that would have taken a 10-person team months to deliver. The math doesn't lie. McKinsey charges $250,000 for a 3-month engagement involving 8 people. An AI-augmented solopreneur can deliver something comparable in a week at a fraction of the cost, with better customization. That's not hyperbole. That's economics. The founders who understood this early aren't waiting for Series A funding. They're not hiring. They're not building traditional organizations. They're building AI-first companies from day one, with a completely different cost structure, margin profile, and scaling curve. So what exactly are these AI agents everyone's talking about? They're not just chatbots. They're not just tools you use and then put away. Think of them as specialized employees who never sleep, never quit, never ask for equity, and never get tired. Each one is specialized. Available 24/7. Better every time you use it. Imagine a council of advisors, each one an expert in their domain. You've got a research agent that consumes massive amounts of data and synthesizes insights in minutes. A writing agent that generates, refines, and adapts content for different audiences. An analytics agent that runs complex modeling and pattern recognition. A strategy agent that evaluates options, stress tests assumptions, and recommends courses of action. You've also got a project management agent coordinating tasks, a customer service agent handling support, a sales agent qualifying leads, a finance agent tracking metrics and modeling scenarios. It's not one person plus AI. It's one person orchestrating an entire department of specialized intelligence. What makes this revolutionary is the interface. You're not writing code. You're not managing databases. You're just talking. You tell your council of agents what you need, and they execute. They collaborate. They iterate. They deliver. The traditional startup model said you needed headcount to scale. These councils prove you don't. You need coordination. You need clear direction. But the actual work, the analysis, the creation, the execution, that's all happening through AI. And here's what's wild. The agents get better every time you use them. They learn your preferences, your style, your standards. Over time, they become an extension of your own thinking. Here's what keeps traditional business leaders up at night. AI isn't just making work faster. It's making entire departments obsolete. Let's be direct about this. The HR department that manages hiring and onboarding? That's being automated. The customer service team that handles support tickets and escalations? being replaced, the marketing team that creates content and runs campaigns, increasingly handled by AI. The analytics department that runs reports and models scenarios, consolidated into a single agent. It's not a gradual transition, it's a cliff. Companies didn't downsize HR teams by 10%. They eliminated entire HR functions. Not because the people weren't good, but because the work itself doesn't require human judgment anymore. For a solopreneur, this is liberation. You don't have to negotiate equity with an AI agent. You don't have to deal with interpersonal conflict. You don't have to split cap table allocations. You don't have to manage personalities or deal with team dynamics. You get the output. You keep all the upside. But here's the other side of this coin. If you're a traditional business leader watching this happen, it's terrifying. The entire organizational structure you built your career on is becoming optional. The companies that are winning right now aren't the ones trying to compete with traditional staffing models. They're the ones that accepted this shift early and rebuilt their operations around AI-first workflows. They've got fewer people, lower costs, better speed, and because there's less bureaucracy and better decision-making, the math is so compelling that the old model can't compete. It's not even close. Here's something founders don't talk about enough: the loneliness of building alone. You make decisions, you live with them, you don't have someone to challenge your thinking or stress test your ideas. AI changes that equation. It's not just that they're helping you work faster, they're helping you think differently. When you're building something, you need multiple perspectives. Someone to play devil's advocate, someone to spot blind spots, someone to generate alternatives you wouldn't have thought of. Traditional co-founders provide that, but they also come with baggage. Ego, different visions, equity disputes, the need to align on everything. AI co-founders, they provide the thinking without the friction. You can have a strategy session where your AI agents present 5 different market approaches, each one stress-tested and modeled. You can ask them to argue against your favorite idea. You can ask them to find the weakest point in your logic and attack it relentlessly. They'll do it, every time, without ego, without needing to be right. What founders are discovering is that AI co-founders enable better decision-making because the founder stays in control. You're not negotiating. You're not compromising. You're absorbing perspectives and then deciding. This is reshaping how solopreneurs actually work. They're not trying to do everything themselves. They're orchestrating a team of specialized intelligences that help them think, execute, and scale. The workflow looks like this. Founder sets direction. AI agents explore possibilities. Founder evaluates and decides. AI agents execute at scale. Repeat. It's faster than traditional hierarchies because there's no layers, no approval processes, no meetings where someone needs to present to someone else who needs to present to someone else. Just think, act, learn, iterate. So you've got AI agents, a solopreneur directing them. But here's the real question. How does this actually work at scale? How do you coordinate dozens of specialized agents without the whole thing falling apart? That's where orchestration comes in. It's not just that AI makes individuals more productive. It's that AI can coordinate AI without human intervention. Your agents can talk to each other, collaborate, hand off work, escalate decisions that need your input. Imagine a customer inquiry coming in. The customer service agent receives it, understands the problem, checks if it's something they can handle alone. If it is, they resolve it. If not, they hand it to the right specialized agent. Maybe the technical support agent, maybe the billing agent, maybe the product feedback agent. That entire workflow happens without a human coordinator. The founder never needs to step in and say, okay, now this goes to that person. The agents figure it out. They route work. They prioritize. They escalate when needed. This is what lean AI companies are building, not organizations with fewer people doing the same work faster, organizations with fundamentally different structures. Instead of departments, you've got agent networks. Instead of hierarchies, you've got workflows. Instead of management layers, you've got orchestration. The founder's job isn't to do work anymore. It's to set strategy, monitor outcomes, and intervene only when the agents need a decision that requires human judgment. For the first time in business history, this is actually possible. You can build a company that operates at scale without the overhead of scale. No office, no HR, no payroll, no management layers. Just intelligence coordinating intelligence, with a human founder making the decisions that matter. Let me ask you something. How many founders do you know who have access to genuinely great strategic advice? Real, honest, challenging feedback? Most don't. Most are flying blind, making decisions based on incomplete information and their own biases. The best founders have a board of advisors, experienced people who've built things before, who understand markets, who can spot patterns and blind spots. But that's expensive. It requires relationships. It requires convincing smart people to spend their time on your company. AI changes this. Your AI strategic advisor has access to decades of business knowledge, market data, competitive intelligence, and strategic frameworks. It can model scenarios. It can challenge your assumptions. It can tell you exactly where your thinking is weak. And it's available right now. Not, let me get back to you, not, I'll think about it and we'll catch up next month. Right now, you're facing a decision about market expansion. Your AI advisor models 3 scenarios with different assumptions, shows you the sensitivity analysis, and tells you which bets are worth taking and which are traps. You're building a product roadmap? Your advisor analyzes competitive moves, customer data, and market trends, then recommends which features move the needle and which are distractions. You're thinking about pricing? Your advisor runs models on different price points, shows you the impact on unit economics and total addressable market, and recommends the optimal strategy. This isn't generic advice. This is personalized, contextual, deeply informed strategic thinking, available instantly and tailored to your specific situation. The traditional advantage of experienced founders and investors was access to pattern recognition and strategic wisdom. AI democratizes that. Now, any solopreneur can have a world-class strategic advisor. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode of Tomorrow Unveiled. Traditional productivity metrics measure output per worker, widgets per person, revenue per employee. Stable for decades, maybe 2 to 3% annual growth. But AI-augmented solopreneurs? Completely different. We're talking about productivity increases of 10x, 50x, sometimes 100x on specific tasks. A solopreneur using AI can produce what used to take a team of 5 in a fraction of the time. Here's what's happening. The old metric, output per worker, is becoming obsolete. What matters now is output per founder. A traditional founder with a team of 10 might have each person working at baseline productivity. Total output? 10 units of work per day. Solopreneur with an AI council? Each agent is working at 5 or 10 times the productivity of a human. The founder is coordinating. Total output? 50 to 100 units of work per day. And the solopreneur is keeping all the margin. This isn't theoretical. Companies like Gamma are doubling their annual recurring revenue, going from 50 million to 100 million, with teams that haven't grown proportionally. Why? Because they're AI native. Every process, every workflow, every operation has been rebuilt around AI-first thinking. The productivity explosion isn't coming from working harder. It's coming from working differently. When your agents are handling routine analysis, content creation, customer support, and project coordination, your time as the founder becomes incredibly valuable. You're not bogged down in execution. You're thinking about strategy, making bets, building relationships, making the decisions that actually move the needle. Your productivity per hour skyrockets because you're only doing work that requires founder-level judgment. This is what venture capitalists are starting to understand. The old playbook was more people equals more output. The new playbook is better AI orchestration equals exponential output. Companies that embrace this will outpace traditional competitors by orders of magnitude. So here's the question everyone's asking. Can a single person actually build $1 billion company? The answer might actually be yes. It sounds crazy, but the numbers are starting to show it's possible. There's an emerging category of companies called lean AI natives. These are startups built from day one with AI-first operations. They have tiny teams, sometimes just a handful of people, but they're operating at scales that used to require hundreds. Gamma AI just doubled its annual recurring revenue to $100 million. With how many employees? A fraction of what traditional companies at that scale would have. Why? Because they're not hiring for traditional roles. They're hiring for founder-level decision-making and specialized expertise. Everything else is automated. The economics are staggering. A traditional software company at 100 million ARR might have 200 people. Cost structure, millions per month in salaries, benefits, overhead. A lean AI company at the same scale might have 30 people. Cost structure, fraction of that. Margins are 3, 4, 5 times higher. Growth capital requirements are lower. Time to profitability is faster. And the question that's starting to be asked in venture capital circles is, if this works at 100 million ARR, why not at a billion? What if the first billion-dollar company of one is coming? Not next year, maybe not for 5 years. But the structural advantages are becoming so clear that it's not a matter of if, but when. The company wouldn't look like traditional organizations. It wouldn't have departments or management layers. It would be a founder working with a council of AI agents, maybe a small team of specialists for areas that still require human judgment. But operationally, it could run circles around traditional billion-dollar companies. The lean AI company model is proving that you don't need massive teams to achieve massive scale. You need better orchestration, smarter workflows, and the willingness to rebuild your operations around AI from day one. But we need to talk about something that doesn't fit neatly into the spreadsheet. AI agents aren't running the company. The person is. They're providing capability, speed, analysis, tireless execution, but they can't do certain things. They can't know what genuinely matters. They can't decide which outcome is the right one. They can't know which ideas are genuinely innovative versus which ones sound good but miss the mark. AI can execute brilliantly. It can optimize, it can scale, but it can't decide what to optimize for. It can't know the difference between clever and wise. That's the founder's job. That's where the human element becomes not just valuable but irreplaceable. The best solopreneurs using AI aren't trying to remove themselves from the equation. They're using AI to amplify their own judgment and decision-making. They're using AI to handle the execution so they can focus on the thinking, to manage the scale so they can focus on the direction, to run the operations so they can focus on what matters. The AI agents aren't co-founders. They're not partners with equity. They're tools, incredibly sophisticated tools that can think and act, but tools nonetheless. The founder is still the one who decides, still the one who takes the risk, still the one responsible for the outcome. What's changing is the leverage. The founder's decisions now have the backing of AI scale execution. One person's judgment can now drive billion-dollar operations, but that also means one person's bad decisions can drive billion-dollar failures. The stakes are higher. The responsibility is heavier. The upside is greater. That's what separates the solopreneurs who'll build billion-dollar companies from the ones who'll burn out. It's not about working harder. It's about making better decisions about what matters. If you're watching on your phone, there's a hype button right below the video. Smashing that really helps channels like ours get discovered. Here's what we know. The old model is breaking. The new model is being built in real time. In 5 years, we won't be asking, can a solopreneur build a billion-dollar company? We'll be asking, why would anyone build a billion-dollar company any other way? The founders who understand this are already moving. They're not raising traditional venture capital. They're bootstrapping, namming AI native companies. They're rebuilding their operations around AI agents and orchestration. They're competing with McKinsey and getting the work done faster and cheaper. They're replacing entire departments with specialized agents. They're building companies with margin profiles that traditional organizations can't match. And most importantly, they're proving that the future of business isn't about scale of teams. It's about leverage of intelligence. The solopreneur revolution isn't coming. It's here. It's happening in apartments and co-working spaces. It's happening quietly, but it's happening. The companies that will dominate the next decade won't be the ones with the biggest teams or the most funding. They'll be the ones that figured out how to orchestrate AI at the highest level. They'll be lean, they'll be fast, They'll be relentless. And most of them will be started by solopreneurs who understood that in an AI-first world, one person with the right tools can compete with anyone. The barrier to entry just collapsed. The leverage equation just flipped. The playbook just got rewritten. Welcome to the future of business. It's smaller than you think. It's faster than you expect. And it's being built right now.
Let the future be your guide with all the knowledge deep inside. See the path